What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of The Shift. We are live on IG, Twitter, and Facebook. Make sure you are tuned in as we are live now to a brand new episode of The Shift. Francisco Rojas, Nick Earnshaw, of course, on the other side, all Nike'd up with his shirt, with his
Yeah, I
hoodie, and his
do.
hat, and his socks, and his underwear, and all that. He's all Nike'd up.
I
What's
got I
up,
got the
Nick Earnshaw?
socks. The socks
Oh,
are
you
Nike.
do?
And I got the Jordan shorts on. The
Okay.
Jordan shorts on.
Okay, so
So,
Jordan's basically Nike.
yeah, so it's under all the same umbrella, right? Yeah, I am
Look at
Nike'd
you.
up today. I didn't even notice that. I had free promo, huh? For that.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nike's definitely making money off Nick
Yeah.
Earnshaw for sure.
Yeah, off the shift, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Dude, we got a lot
Let's do.
today.
Yeah, I mean, we got a good slate here. First off, how are you, Nick?
I am
How's
doing
everything going?
fantastic. Fantastic. How are you? I heard you were tearing up the dance floor too hard. Someone told you to stop. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't want to go into depths here, the specifics. I don't, I don't want to go into that today, Nick. But yes, I did get in trouble last night. But I didn't get in trouble to the point where I got kicked out, so it's okay.
You're just a party animal.
It was a metal versus punk show. I like to get crazy with stuff, just to clarify things, and
Spinning, kicking. The rumors out there.
Spinning chickens, yeah, absolutely. I'm always spinning chickens. What can I say? No, we got a fun show today, Nick. We're bringing back all-time franchises. Today we're doing the St. Louis Cardinals, which is actually, I know you're going to give me crap, and I definitely told you this before. Cardinals were my second favorite team growing up because I'm a big Pujols fan. At times, Cardinals were my team when I was like a little kid. Not gonna lie, as much as I love the Philadelphia Phillies, they're always number one. Like as a 9-year-old, come on, we all had second favorite teams. The Cardinals.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Not all
yeah,
of
you
us.
did.
Not
Yeah,
all
you
of
did.
us.
Yeah, you
No.
did. Yeah, you're an A's guy. You're an athletics guy. You still
Always.
you're an
I've
athletics
always
guy.
had a soft spot for him, but I wouldn't go as far as to say I have a second favorite team. I don't believe in second favorite teams. You shouldn't have a second favorite team. You got soft spots for teams. You have a favorite
When you're
player.
a kid?
Like you
Let's
should.
talk about now. I'm talking about when you were a kid.
No, I didn't have a second favorite team when I was a kid. No,
Okay,
Phillies all the way.
Then you were deprived.
I was not deprived. You should have opened it and said you could have went. Oh well, I loved Albert Pujols growing up, so that was a reason I had a soft spot for the Cardinals. None of the second favorite team.
No, I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be honest. I don't sit here and lie. So
you should have. This might have been a time to lie. This might have been a time to lie to the audience, but
this is not that time. I don't lie, and this is not the time if I'm ever gonna lie.
You were all excited when we went to Cooperstown last year and Scott Rowland was being inducted. You were wearing Cardinals gear there, so I mean you were wearing Mariners gear. You're all over the place.
I support.
We gotta help you out.
I support the entire league.
You're a fan of the game. You're just a fan.
Exactly. Phillies, Cardinals, baseball, baby. Not the Cardinals. Not like that anymore. I really genuinely since 2007, 8. I don't care about the Cardinals.
Okay.
Anymore.
All right.
Again, it was a thing when I was a 10-year-old. I was like 9.
You're a dumb kid. You didn't know yet.
Dumb kid, right? Kid. Yeah, I probably was.
Yeah, you didn't know yet. You didn't know what was going on. You couldn't figure things out. And it's all right. You've kind of grown. You wearing the during the NLCS, you're wearing the Diamondbacks gear. But we'll get you straightened out. About time. It's about time. Finally, you wear some Phillies gear.
Wearing today. Yes. Shall we get into the show?
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, we've already wasted 5 minutes.
You know what? We wasted 5 minutes there on the. You'll find out our lineups or our all-time teams for the Cardinals. You'll find out about the rest of the show too. Let's just get right into it. Yeah. PECOTA projections, Nick Earnshaw, just came out recently from Baseball Prospectus, as they do this time every year. Let's just go through it. Not really go through it, but let's give our 3 biggest takeaways from the standings as they have come out in the last couple of days. Nick, I will go first. So I'll give my three ones that really jumped out at me as I was reading them. Mm-hmm. So number 1, American League East. Orioles and Yankees, you got to flip those there. The fact that look, I like the Soto addition for them or trade. I like the Stroman signing. I think they have a chance to be good this year. I think in a world there is a chance they can be a contender. 95 wins in an American League East division where the Orioles are still better than you, and you have the Orioles at 87 wins. Now, again, I don't know exactly how they do their projections, but I think we can all agree, every single one of us out there, I think even Yankees fans will tell you, this is not right. Orioles, 87 wins, Yankees, 95. Let's flip that. I could see we talked about this. I could see the Yankees potentially being a wild card team, but
Yeah.
I think a lot banks on that rotation and even their lineup. There's a lot at stake there with certain guys and their ages and injuries, recent years with Giancarlo
Yeah.
and Rizzo and LeMahieu, and even Judge. So I still like the Orioles a lot more than I like the Yankees. That's number one. Number
Okay.
two, Phillies at 84 wins. Let's give this team some respect. I understand. I get it. The Braves are a better team overall. They are. It's obvious. We all know that. But the Phillies are really good. The Phillies have one of the best lineups in baseball. They have, they definitely have one of the best rotations in baseball. Why are you giving me balloons?
I didn't
Did you do
even give
that?
you balloons. I didn't do that.
How did that just? You saw
My
that, right?
hands. Yeah. What are you hitting buttons?
It's not. My birthday was a month and a half ago, man.
Yeah. My
For
birthday's
anybody
not till
that's
July.
listening, on Spotify or Apple or on Google Podcasts,
You got
those
hacked.
balloons that one. I don't even know what happened there.
I have no idea what that
I was
was.
around before the start of the show, and I was doing like
You
virtual
were.
background around, but that had nothing to do with balloons.
You
What
must
was
have hit.
that
You
about?
must have done. I don't know what you're doing over there on
I'm
your
not
end.
touching anything. Look at my hands, bro. You want me to do the show like this? I'll just
Yeah.
do it like
Yeah.
this.
Just stay up here. Keep your hands where I can see them.
Yeah. That's what I get for my takes. I get pulled over for my takes. I don't get pulled
Yeah.
over for speeding or anything like
Jeez.
that. Anyway,
Jeez.
so
Continue.
Phillies. So starting pitching, I think one of the more underrated rotations in baseball. And honestly, they still could be one of the best rotations in baseball. I think they have the potential to really be this year with Nola, Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez. Very interested to see what he's going to do over a full year as a starter. That's what we think. Ranger Suarez, healthy this year. If he is, I think that spells good things for the Phils. And then Taiwan Walker, I think he's good as your number 5. I don't love him, but he's your number 5. Take it.
Yeah.
So like I like that. I like the bullpen. I don't see them at 84 wins. Like it doesn't make sense to me. I'm thinking like 91 to 93,
Yeah.
somewhere in that range. That's where I see the Phillies, getting that number 1 wild card spot.
Yeah.
And so 84 wins, no. And then lastly, and I'll keep this kind of shorter here. They hit the AL, and this is a positive. They hit the AL West, I felt like, right on the head.
Right.
Houston at 95, definitely like that, especially with the Hater edition. Texas at 86 wins. Maybe I give them another couple of wins there. I think, it's hard to not to say the Rangers didn't deserve the World Series, like they did. But at the same time, like they kind of were in a world where, you played the Arizona Diamondbacks in the World Series and
Right.
someone finally took care of business. So I like Texas at 86 to 88 wins, somewhere around there. Seattle 85. I like that for them. I think Seattle could be a playoff team. Angels for the Angels 74 wins, and Oakland 64 wins there. So I like the AL West there, man. So those are my 3 takeaways. Again, AL East, flip Orioles and Yankees. Phillies need to be about 8 more wins higher than that, and the AL West, they hit that right on the head. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, so I want to start both New York teams. They're really high on both New York teams, in my opinion. Baseball perspectives here. Like you mentioned, the Yankees should not be in first place. I think they're way too high on the Yankees, and have Baltimore in third is crazy to me. I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
The Yankees need to be bumped down. Baltimore's got to be bumped up. And we know New York has had trouble staying healthy. Are we completely sold on their pitching yet? I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get out of their staff. So I'm in agreement with you there. I thought the Yankees at 94 wins was wild, and having Baltimore Orioles taking a step back this year, like a really big step back. I thought that was off the wall weird. So I'm with you on New York, but they're high on both New York teams. How do you have the New York Mets at 84 wins, just like the Phillies? What that's my biggest beef with these projected standings for baseball prospectus. They're too high on both New York teams. They have the New York Mets at 84 wins, right there with the Phillies. I having almost identical records. I just can't see that. The Phillies are in another stratosphere, I think, than the Mets. And we know, and we're going to talk about the Mets again in the show, but I just don't see them being that much improved from last year after the debacle and all the money they spent last year and making big moves at the deadline to get younger. I don't see them 84 wins, maybe 80, but I thought they've highly overrated both New York teams in these standings, in my estimation. I thought that was something that really, really stood out to me in these standings. My second takeaway would be the NL Central and how wide open the NL Central will be. They kind of have everyone really close. They have St. Louis winning the division, a St. Louis Cardinal bounce back year, which I could see happening. They improved this offseason. The Cubs, I think, are kind of going to be right where they were last year a little bit. They have the Cubs at around 80 wins, and then the Milwaukee Brewers taking a step back to 79 wins. Yeah, they have Rhys Hoskins, but they just lost their top pitcher. They just traded him to the Baltimore Orioles, which is why the Orioles thing's so weird to me. But yeah, so just how wide open the NL Central is, I thought that was very, very interesting. They have Cincinnati at around 78 wins. I think Cincinnati is going to be more improved this year, not just because of my fan of Ellie De La Cruz, but they have some good young talent in Cincinnati, and I'd expect them to take a little bit more of a jump. I think they eclipse 80 wins. I think that's very possible for the Cincinnati Reds, but I think they got that right. The Central being kind of wide open and all the teams being pretty close, other than really Pittsburgh. I feel like Chicago and Milwaukee are two similar teams now, with kind of the step back Milwaukee took, losing Corbin Burns, etc. So yeah, I found that pretty interesting as well. And going back to the AL and the AL West, I thought that was pretty much on the money. I honestly, I think Seattle and Texas, they should have their numbers both bumped up a little more. I that's where I'm at with it. I think Texas at 86 wins. I think they get close to 90 or 91. I think that would be more respectable. And I think Seattle is really good. I think they get around 87, 88, and they have them at 85. So I think they should have been bumped up a little more. That's my third takeaway. Is I thought Texas and Seattle should have, probably gained a little more respect from whoever created the standings here, whatever formula they use. I thought they could have had a little more respect. And especially if Texas re-signs Jordan Montgomery, then they definitely should be at 90 wins. So those are some of the takeaways I had from the baseball prospectus PECOTA standings.
Yeah, you know what too, man. Like I feel like last year and years past, I feel like I've been a lot more outraged over some of these standings. I actually think they weren't that bad this year. There were a couple of things, and and obviously
yeah.
they have their ways of doing, their projections. There's certain numbers they use, certain analytics. So I get it. That's why I don't get too upset like certain people do. I get it. It's fun to feel emotional about things. That's why we love sports too, right? We like to get emotional. We like it. But there wasn't actually too many crazy things this year, to be honest.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the AL East. I think the AL East was probably the most outrageous one out of every year. That's probably the most outrageous thing. Having the Yankees at 94 and having Toronto even ahead of Baltimore. Second place. They had Yankees, Toronto, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, Boston. I don't see that at all. At all.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes. We didn't really get to talk about this. This is about what, like probably 3-4 days ago now, but definitely newsworthy nonetheless. I still think at this point, as we're getting closer to pitchers and catchers, kind of in that lull, but had some news here. 2 extensions and 1 re-signing for a pitching legend. So let's go through them, Nick. We have Bobby Witt extension. It was 11 years, 277, I believe, and it could be like 214 to 377 with some certain options, whatever.
288. It was 288.
Yeah. Okay, 288.
Yep.
Okay, so Bobby Witt. Then we had Jose Altuve, basically an Astro for life now, for the most part, depending on how long he plays, with his 5-year extension. And then Clayton Kershaw. He does not sign with the Texas Rangers. He re-signs with the LA Dodgers. I believe it's 2 years, $10 million, which we'll get into in a second. So Nick, let's go one by one here. Okay. Bobby Witt, former #1 prospect just a couple of years ago. Tell me about what you think of Bobby Witt's extension. Kind of a surprise too. Just tell me what you think.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because I feel like you don't see extensions from the Kansas City Royals like this, right? They don't give. I don't feel like they give out these contracts very often. And Bobby Witt's a guy who's been a top prospect in this game. He's a really fun player to watch. And it's interesting that they gave it to him now. The timing was kind of like, whoa, I didn't see him getting this 11-year deal. And they want to lock up their young star, right? Like they want to have him here for a long time, be a guy that they can kind of build around in their lineup. So the way, and they kind of backloaded it a little bit too. It was kind of like, I'm going through some of the years, like next year he's only going to make $2 million, then 2025 $7 million, then 13 million in 2020. So it gradually goes up, and then there's like a stretch where he's making $35 million a year, and then towards the end he's like back down to 28, which is kind of crazy the way they structured everything for this contract. But now you get to keep a guy who could possibly be right, like in that conversation, maybe at some point an MVP, right? Like he's got that type of talent at some point, right? And second half last year, I mean, look at his splits. He batted .301, 343 on base percentage, 563 slugging. He had a really good second half last year. So I think this was something Kansas City had to do. They didn't want to let him test the market. They didn't want him leaving. This is the guy they've developed. And I think it was probably the right move for Kansas City. I don't think anyone really saw it coming. Like, oh, Kansas City giving out a big contract? That's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, let's and Nick, so yeah, I'm kind of like, we're kind of on the same wavelength here. I mean, my biggest takeaway, I think it's great to see Kansas City, a small market team, actually. I mean, they're a small market, right?
Kansas City is a smaller market. Yeah, I mean, I know they have Patrick Mahomes and
I was going to say they have like a 90,000 person stadium.
Yeah, but it's a mid market, right? It's not a top 5, top 10 market.
Yeah, for a market like this, I think it's really, really cool to see them invest in a player like this. I think it means that they're really obviously, first off, they believe in him, which is great, and second off, I think it shows that they want to win going forward. They really want to win. So and even the offseason they had, I think they've had an underrated offseason. So I think this is a great sign for things to come for Kansas City. And let's just real quick, I pulled up an article here from RoyalsReview.com. The 5 biggest deals in Kansas City Royals history. Number 1, Alex Gordon in 2016. 4 years, $72 million. Yeah. That's a little more for Bobby Witt. Yeah. Ian Kennedy, former Phillies legend, 5 years, $70 million. January 2016. Gil Mesh, all the way back in December of 2006, 5 years, $55 million. Jose Guillen, December of 2007, 3 years, $36. And then Jason Vargas, I think another Phillies legend, 4 years, $32 million in November of 2013. So those are the top 5 there. So I mean, it just trumps all that. It trumps all that. Not to say the Royals didn't want to win in the past. Obviously, they won a World Series in 2015. Not to say they had their way of doing it. But this really shows now that they want to win, and they're really investing the money. And I like to see it. So I think it's good for the city of Kansas City to have a player to be attached to, a young player. He's 23 years old. Yeah. He almost had a 30-50 season last year, dude. Yes, He was caught stealing 15 times, and I got to bring that up.
Yeah, it bothers you. I know
the stolen base rate is the stolen base rate matters. Just saying. You can steal 30 bases and get caught stealing 30 times.
I know
you're costing teams outs. You can hit the ball. That batting average could look good, but you get on base and you try to steal a base and you're out, and that batting average doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, anyway. You were the one last year with Acuna trying to disregard his 70 stolen base season last year because he got thrown out.
That was like middle of the season. That wasn't the end of the season, was it?
Yeah. We knew where he was headed, and you were trying to discredit the stolen bases because he got thrown out a few
Mookie
times.
should have won MVP.
Oh,
Mookie Betts.
stop
Just
it.
kidding.
Oh,
I'm
stop it.
all for it. All right. Let's go to Jose Altuve next. I will
Yep.
go first here and take a little initiative. Jose Altuve, 5 years, 125 million, I think, right? Somewhere around there.
Astro for life.
Astro for life. So he'll be there until he's 38, 39 years old. He's 33 now. Be honest with you, man. I understand it. I get it for Astros for like to a certain extent. I understand it because he's an Astros legend. I get it. But it's dumb. It's dumb, dude. Like the guy just coming off injuries this year. He played 90 games last year. He's only getting older. I think it's kind of dumb. I don't know. I don't love it.
He is the
I don't love it.
Astros. He defines the Astros,
I
especially
get it.
this
That's
era.
what I'm saying. I get it. Like I
What do you
get it.
mean you
I'm just
get it?
saying, is it logically smart to sign a 5-year, 125 million extension to a guy who's 33 and coming off only playing 90 games this year? I don't think it's the smartest thing.
It's
That's
not
all I'm
so
saying.
black and white, Francisco. It's you can't look at it that way. This guy has been a part of their entire era over the past 10 to 15 years, right? Like he defines their era. He has the biggest home run in Astros history. Like he is the Astros and what they are. You can't just let a guy like that. He's a living legend for them. You can't just let him walk. And it makes total sense. You don't see guys, especially like legends like this, like sometimes they'll like spend a year or two on a different team towards the end of their career, but we know like what team they are a part of. This makes total sense. They're not going to let Jose Altuve walk out the door. They're going to treat him correctly and properly for all that he's done for that organization. I know the World Series will always have a blip on it and an asterisk for what happened in 2017, and that'll always be talked about. But Jose Altuve has been a Hall of Fame level player for them for years and years. I know the injury thing. I get it. You want to look at it like, well, it doesn't make total sense to bring back a 33-year-old who just got injured, but the guy's been there for so long. He's an Astros Hall of Famer. He's going to be probably in the Hall of Fame depending on what they think about the 2017 scandal. We'll see how that goes and shapes up when the time comes. But he's a Hall of Fame level player. Been one of the best, if not the best, second baseman over the past 10 to 15 years in the league. They're no brainer. You got to make him an Astro for life. It's just that simple, Francisco. That's simple. No overthinking it. No overthinking it.
I'm not overthinking it. I'm just being logical. It's simple, logical points. He's 33 years old. He's coming off an injury. He's only getting older. I don't see why the Astros wouldn't. And by the way, they have like the second to last rated farm system according to Fangraphs. Like they don't have anybody coming up. Like they should have somebody coming up in the place for Altuve, but they don't. I guess maybe that's why they partially made the deal, but I don't know.
He's going to be the second baseman for a while. He's going to be the second baseman for a long while.
You just better hope he's there. Are you an Astro fan? Are you an Altuve Astro fan?
Not one bit, but I'm just saying, like, I would have liked to seen like guys like Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley finish their careers here instead of having to trade them, but with different circumstances. The Astros are still really competitive, so they can afford to pay a guy like that and at his age and take the risk. Especially since they want to do him right after what he's done for that team and that organization in that city. It makes business sense to me, and that's a fan favorite. Sure. So I get it.
Tell me about Clayton Kershaw. What do you think? 2 years, 10 million. What do you think?
The same thing. I can't see Clayton Kershaw in another uniform, right? I mean, yeah, he had to come back to the Dodgers. They got to treat him right. They got to make sure he ends his career as a Dodger. You can't let him walk out the door too. It's kind of the similar thing with the Astros because the Dodgers are still competitive too. They can take a flyer on a Clayton Kershaw and have him be the horse, be the leader in the locker room, right? Like I think that's a guy you want still on your team and on your roster.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm with you.
And they improved in the offseason.
The logical thing. I'm just kidding. I'm with it for the money. I'm with it. 2 years, 10 million. Yeah. He's not going to be back till like July or August.
Yeah.
I think it's good depth, especially for like the rotation that they have,
right.
With guys that are injury prone, like Glass now. I think like James Paxton's actually in this rotation technically too, according to Fangraphs. He's a guy I don't believe has been able to stay healthy. Walker Buehler is supposed to be coming back. Guy has been able to stay healthy over the last couple of years. Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense for that money. It's a no brainer. My God, $5 million a year for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm all over this. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for Clayton Kershaw to the dollars.
I'll give you some great regular season starts. It'll be great in the regular season. Can eat some innings for you. Maybe not want to
Yeah, but
start him in
not
the
till. I mean, he's not
playoffs.
going to be there till like August.
I know, but like I'm just saying, he'll eat some innings in the dog days and coming down the stretch, and you
Yeah,
don't need to really start him in the playoffs. You don't want to because we
you
know how
don't.
that
He can
goes.
come out of the bullpen and he'll
We
give
know how
up
that
like
goes.
5 runs like he did against the Diamondbacks.
We know
Jeez,
that
maybe it's
goes.
not a good deal. Maybe it's not a good deal. Maybe you
Maybe
should
it's
just let
not.
him go to the Rangers.
Let him go. Yeah.
All right,
Let it
let's bring it
go.
back. Let's
Bring
bring
it
it
back.
back. All time St. Louis Cardinals, my second favorite team as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring them
No, I
back.
don't.
A little
I don't.
nostalgia here. Nick, I'm gonna go first. Just
Okay,
because
I know you're
I love
excited.
this.
You couldn't
Yeah,
wait.
I'm
You couldn't
excited.
wait.
Let me
You're like,
go.
yo, you're like a little kid in a candy store texting
I
me on
know.
the
It's like,
phone.
whoa, yeah.
Hey,
It's like,
hey,
oh,
can we bring back the all-time lineups? I'm like, let's
it's
do
like
it. We'll bring back the
Arenado,
all-time
Goldschmidt. Oh
lineups.
crap! It's like,
Let's
look,
go.
oh, look at
This
that.
wasn't.
Look,
This was
Jack
a
Flaherty.
last second call by you before we
Yeah,
came on the air.
because I figured we hadn't done it in a while, and
Yeah, we
I
haven't.
was like, yeah, it made sense. All
Yeah,
right,
I was
so
like, what's funny is I asked you, I'm like, so what team you want to do? You knew Cardinals. Oh, we're doing the Cardinals. I said,
yeah,
okay.
I was
I'm
on
like, what?
Fangraphs. And the first like thumbnail for like the National League projections was
Yeah.
the Cardinals, and I've been thinking about doing the segment for a while because we hadn't done it in a while. I'm like, there it is, the
You're
Cardinals.
sleeping and
So,
dreaming
oh
about,
yeah,
oh, the next time we do an all-time lineup, we're doing my second favorite team as a child in my youth. We're
is that
going
what
with the
that sounds like?
Cardinals.
Is that what
I
that
had
sounds like?
Siri read it. I'm in the middle of driving. You're texting me. Oh, Cardinals. Boom. Right back to me. Siri's reading it off for me
Oh yeah,
while I'm
I
driving.
already had it ready. I had it ready.
Message from Francisco Rojas. Cardinals. I'm
Oh
like, oh,
boy.
all right, Siri.
All
We
right.
got it.
By the way, I don't think we need to do a lineup anymore. I know we've done that in the
Nah, I
past.
just went
I don't
with
think
the
we're.
yeah.
Yeah,
I just
let's
went with
do like the position.
yeah.
Yeah, because I realized I'm like, we don't do that.
Well, it was the last
All
second
right.
audible. Yeah, I gotta think
Yeah.
about that if we're gonna do a whole
Right. I
like
know.
1 through
It's
9.
and honestly, it's not like it's not catching on to the people. I don't think. I think what catches on to the people are the positions and stuff like that. All right.
Yeah.
So let's start a catcher. I think it's pretty easy. Yadi Molina. You know.
Yeah.
Relax. Yadi Molina, potentially future Hall of Famer. I'm not like first ballot like some other people think, but potential. First base, we got Keith Hernandez. Former MVP for the Cardinals. Very, very, very underrated hitter. Just because he didn't hit bombs doesn't mean that he wasn't a great hitter. And he was one of the best. He probably potentially is the greatest fielding first baseman of all time. I see your face. You can just hold your thoughts. Keith Hernandez.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going. Oh, okay. Continue.
Do I know where I'm going? I don't think you know.
Yeah, I know.
Second base, Rogers Hornsby.
Okay.
Rogers Hornsby. From the 20s and 30s, where Hornsby was probably the best second baseman of his era, or one of the best second basemen of all time, for being honest. So Rogers Hornsby, second base. I don't think that's really arguable. Shortstop, not arguable as well. Ozzie Smith, one of the best defensive players in the history of baseball, without a doubt. Wasn't the best hitter, but it didn't matter. He was so good defensively, it didn't really matter. He was that good, that much of a difference maker defensively for the Cardinals, as his time as a baseball player. At shortstop. Third base, an interesting one. Thought there were a couple of different ways you could go with it. I did not go Nolan Arenado because I don't think Arenado has put in enough time with the Cardinals yet. We'll see maybe the next couple of years what type of numbers he puts up with them. But I'm going Scott Rowland. I think Rowland kind of, early 2000s when he was traded from the Phils to the Cardinals up until he was let go in the late 2000s. Defensively, one of the best defensive third basemen of all time. And to go along with the offensive numbers that he put up, really good. So third base, Scott Rowland. Outfielders from left to right. Okay. Left fielder, Albert Pujols. Former left fielder. He played left field. This is how you create a team, Nick Earnshaw. I don't know why you're rolling your eyes. He played left field the first couple of years of his career. He could play left field. Albert Pujols, left fielder. I don't even need to go into Albert Pujols. Okay. Center fielder, Jim Edmonds. Jim Edmonds hit right behind Albert Pujols
Uh-huh.
in some of those great years that I watched the St. Louis Cardinals as a kid. So Jim Edmonds, one of the best catches we ever saw when he was with the Angels, but also had some incredible catches with the Cardinals. Was multiple-time Gold Glove Award winner. Some seasons where he hit 40 bombs. He was a great power hitting center fielder as well. Right field, Stan Musial, Stan the Man. It's too much of an easy pick here. Stan the Man, one of the greatest hitters probably of all time. Stan the Man. Starting pitcher, Bob Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
We'll remember his 68 season where he had a 1.12 ERA, one of the best years ever for a Major League Baseball pitcher. I don't know what is the face? You all agree with Bob Gibson?
No.
What's wrong with you?
It's not Bob Gibson. It's not Bob Gibson doing it to me. It's something else.
You're still hung up on this? Anyway, Bob Gibson. I don't really need to explain there. Bob Gibson, one of the best pitchers of all time. And then closer, there was a couple of different ways you could go. Thought maybe you could go with like a Lee Smith, but I'm going with Jason Isringhausen. Somebody that I grew up watching play when I was, watching the Cardinals as a kid. Once again, a lot of nostalgic Cardinals here for me. So my closer is Jason Isringhausen. So that's my team. What do you think, Nick? What's your team? I want to hear it.
Do you think you're funny? Do you think you're a funny guy?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why? Why are you putting Albert Pujols in left field?
Because I'm trying to make my first base
team.
Right.
And
okay.
You put Albert in left field? Are you kidding me?
What's wrong with that?
Dude, he's a first baseman. Stop. Just stop. Don't get cute here. You're getting too cute.
He can be a left fielder. What do you mean cute?
Would you stop?
I'm trying to make the team the best way it could be. I didn't want to put Eno Slaughter in the outfield. I wanted to put Keith Hernandez in there because he's a great hitter and he contributes to the lineup better than Eno Slaughter. So put Pujols in left field.
I mean, it's just ridiculous that you're putting him in left field. He had 269 total games in left field.
That's enough.
That's enough?
Yeah.
What about the 2,000 games that he played at first base?
Congratulations. What do you want me to say?
You're a disgrace. It's just unbelievable. What are you doing? You're trying to be this funny guy.
Get to your
put
team,
Albert in left field. It's ridiculous. This was yours. This was yours today. You were supposed to take this segment just hold on to it and take a grasp of it.
I did. It's great.
You put Albert in left. You're sticking him out in left field. I mean, it's disrespectful.
I think you need to make your teams better. Go ahead.
It's disrespectful. No, come on. We're having a great show. We're in a lot of agreement today. And and then you pull this. It's just, I never know what to expect anymore with you.
Maybe
I should off the rails.
Be a GM. Maybe both of us should be GMs in baseball.
I don't want you running my team.
We should go against each other.
Sure.
No, we should go against each other. We should go. I'll be in the National League. You'll be in the American League. Let's see if we meet up in the World Series.
You know what we need to do? You know what we should do is we should put together an MLB The Show kind of franchise mode and see who has the better.
This is a great idea. I'm gonna write this down right now. You think I'm kidding?
We'll live stream it. We'll live stream it. How about that? We'll live stream it. Idea for the future.
Okay, go ahead.
I would put together such a better team and such a better organization than you. It's just left field all-time roster. He goes left field. All right, I'm done. I'm done complaining about your pitiful lineup that you decided to let the world know about. It's just okay. All right, catcher. I'm in agreement with you. Yadier Molina. I think this is pretty much a no-brainer. Yadi, best catcher in their history. First base, Albert Pujols, where he belongs. Played over 2,000 games at first base in his entire career.
He also played third base. You could put him there.
Oh my God, how many was it at third? It was let me see. I have the numbers right in front of me. 110 games. Are you kidding me?
Maybe he practiced there too, though. Why does it have to be during games?
Just stop. Albert Pujols, first base. Second base, Rogers Hornsby. We're in majority. It's majority agreement here.
Okay, congratulations.
But why the left turn you took?
Okay, we get it. Albert Pujols was a left fielder. I know he was. Go ahead.
I don't think I should finish this list.
Go ahead. I don't even know if I want to. I know mine's that good that you can't even do your own. I get it.
I can't. All right. Second base, Roger Hornsby. It's my second baseman. Third base, and you could have went a couple of different ways here as well. I also went Scott Rowland, 06 championship, one of the best defensive third basemen of all time. Like you mentioned, great offensive numbers as well. But there's a number of ways you could have went here. Shortstop, Ozzie Smith. In right field, I have Lou Brock. Center field.
I forgot about Brock.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I have him in right.
Yeah,
Center field, I have
Lou Brock. Holy crap.
yeah, Jim Edmonds in center, and then in right, I have Ozzie Smith. Yeah, Ozzie Smith.
Ozzie Smith? You mean
No, excuse me, sorry. Stan Musial. I was looking.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Stan
You messed up.
Smith.
Look, you messed up your list. Yeah.
So Stan Musial.
I forgot about Lou Brock. Man, how did I forget about Lou Brock?
I know you should have remembered Lou Brock. Come on, man. All right, starting pitcher.
I should put Pujols back to first base.
Okay. Starting pitcher Bob Gibson. And my relief pitcher is Bruce Sutter.
Bruce Sutter. That's a good way to go. I like the list. That was good. I forgot about Lou Brock. I don't know how I forgot about Lou Brock. How the heck did I forget about Lou Brock? Wow.
Yeah.
So maybe I redo my list and Pujols goes to first, and then I get Lou Brock out there in the outfield.
Yeah. All right. When I post these, can you send me a revised list? When I post the graphic?
We go with what goes on the air. We go with on the air. I think
listen, I'm gonna put revised on there. It'll specifically say revised from the show because it needs to be putting him in left field.
Let's see who agrees with my list. I'm curious to see who agrees with the list. I'm curious.
I don't know who's gonna put him in left field other than you. That is such a Francisco.
That means I'm an outside the box thinking GM. We got to think of some segment to do here. We're GMs of a team. We put a roster together and we need to do some sort of like fantasy team for the shift, like going up against each other and see how they do during this.
Well, we could do down the line is we could have a fantasy league for the shift. You know what I mean? Like
we could. I'm saying like we could go up against each other and see whose team does better. Maybe we could. Maybe the fans can help us out here. Maybe if you want to give us ideas, let us know on social media as you see down there on the bottom. But if you're listening to us and not watching on YouTube, it's the shift_media on Instagram.
Yes.
And Twitter, it's it's the same thing. So just give us a follow and let us know there, because I would love to. We want the listeners and viewers input as well.
Maybe we do a fantasy league. Maybe we do a fantasy league this year. Get back into fantasy baseball. I think that would be a great way to show that I'm the better GM than you.
We could. That's actually a good idea. This is a great idea. I love this.
Yeah. Look at us thinking outside the box on the air for the audience. How we brainstorming now.
Brains churning. All right, let's close it out. Let's talk some New York Mets once again. So this has been an ongoing story here with Billy Eppler, the former Mets GM now. There's been a whole phantom injured list scandal where it's up to, I think, a dozen players have been faking injuries, and the Mets have kind of been getting away with it. And now Billy Eppler is officially suspended through the 2024 World Series. I don't really think he has a job right now, so I don't know if this technically matters. I know he quit on October 5th or somewhere around then. I don't know, Nick. What's your take here? I don't know. Like, what do you think? Does Rob Manfred using Eppler to make an example to show teams like, hey, we don't want you to do this, even though teams have done this for a long time and do it all the time? I don't know. What do you make of it? What's your overall thoughts?
I think maybe to an extent he's making him an example. But listen, once again, the mess that is the Mets, right? I mean, the entire last year was a dumpster fire. They have this, he resigned after the organization became aware of the investigation. I don't think it's necessarily to make like, all right, don't ever do this, or I think they broke the rules. He was being investigated for it. He resigned. He didn't do a very good job last year putting this team together. And this is what happens. The Mets are just a little bit of a mess. Maybe they can move past this. Steve Cohen era it's all over the place. It's all over the place. And Billy Eppler, because he won't have a job. He doesn't have a job right now. but I guess he can't have a job this year. That's, I guess, what it means, right? Like, even if he had a job, he got hired by, let's say he got hired by a team, he still wouldn't be able to, I guess, be a part of their operational day to day, etc. So he's suspended this year, no matter what. He might have to go find another part time gig or something somewhere else. But yeah, I think he legitimately just broke the rules. The Mets broke the rules. There's some questionable things that they did with the injury report and reporting injuries. And these are the consequences. And it's not hard to be honest and put the injuries out there when they're supposed to. So he's gonna be the fall guy for it. I mean, he was the GM, he was in charge, and this is what happened. So I don't think it's a huge all right, don't he's an example. They're gonna put him out in the forefront, but I think he broke the rules, and now he's gonna face the consequences, and he did.
Yeah, I think we're kind of in agreement to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. I just think Manfred was, it's a convenient thing. It's the New York Mets. I think that, again, this has been going on around baseball for I don't know how long. I heard AJ Brzezinski, even Ken Rosenthal both talk about this on Foul Territory on their YouTube show. They basically be like, this has been going on, and teams do it all the time. Every team has done this. So I think maybe Manfred just kind of, using the Mets. It's a convenient thing.
He's picking the Mets. I don't know if he's just picking on the Mets, but
to a certain extent, yes. I think yes. Again, I don't think if this was the Dodgers, if this was the Braves, if this was
a fair point,
Yankees, I don't think that. I'm just saying, I don't think that he would.
You don't think this happens to a Brian Cashman,
right? This is a convenient thing that it's the Mets, especially
that
they were having.
Yeah. Especially since, they launched the investigation, he resigned. Now they can really lay the hammer down, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was a convenient thing.
Because
they really understand it?
Are they really laying the hammer down because he doesn't have a job? It's, he's just not going to be involved in baseball.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to be honest with you, I never really felt like super duper duper passionately about this just because whatever. But at the same time, like, that my biggest takeaway again was like, okay, Manfred's it's a convenient thing for him to do. Like, Manfred's done a lot of convenient things in the past. So, basically exonerating the Astros from the scandal and stuff like that. But I don't even really care about that anymore, I'll be honest. But you get the point. So, yep, that's the by the way, before we get out of here, a couple of things. I felt like I had you know what I wanted to mention? I didn't mention to you before the show. What do you think about the Red Sox documentary?
Oh, I'm excited for that. I think that's going to be awesome. I think it is. So is it out yet or no? I did see it. I didn't look.
No, so when's it come out? Out yet, I think we would.
Is it through the season? Like, it's kind of like, I guess kind of like
no. It's gonna happen after the year. They're gonna film it this year. I'm pretty sure, and then we'll be able to. See it afterwards.
I'm in. We talked about the marketing. I saw it. And I was like, that's gonna be cool. I'm 100% gonna tune into that. I think it's great. You see, the success of quarterback. The NFL they followed these three quarterbacks throughout the season, right? That documentary did really well. It was like Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota. I think there'll be another season coming out after this year. But yeah, I think it's smart for baseball. All right, we did a whole show on marketing the game and marketing players. I think this is a great idea. And start with a historical franchise like the Boston Red Sox. Very cool. Very cool. I think the MLB continue to do more of this. It makes total sense. I'm a sucker. I'm going to tune in. I think it's awesome. I think it'll be great content.
Yeah, I just kind of wish it would be another team, to be honest. I don't think this Red Sox team is super compelling.
You don't think they're as compelling. Yeah, right.
Outside of like Devers, and Devers has a fun personality. He's obviously a great player. I'm trying to think of who else is there right now. Like, who else is on the Red Sox? I can't even think. Verdugo left. Seriously, I can't. Pivetta. I know Pivetta's still there. I'm pretty sure. I literally I'm just drawing a blank on. The young guys. Dahlbeck.
Oh, they got Yoshida,
Vaughn Grissom.
Grissom. Yeah. So they got some guys. They're not gonna. Kenley Jansen's still out there. Pivetta. They got some guys. Devers.
Honestly, the more I think about it, I don't think
Trevor Story. Forgot about Trevor Story.
Yeah, I would like to see. I would like to see Story come back and kind of be the power hitting shortstop that he's been in the past.
Yeah, Yoshida. So they got some guys. It doesn't need to be a World Series contending team. I think just the ins and out and seeing every day. To me, that's
I would agree.
The best part. I don't need it to be a a World Series contender.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. I think biasly, I would say I would love to see the Phillies.
Well, obviously, I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think they
I
have
mean,
a
for
great.
us,
They have a ton of personality.
Well, you'd love to
So,
see the Cardinals too. You'd love to see.
Oh,
The Cardinals.
I see the Cardinals. I never see the Cardinals. So they suck now anyway. Who cares?
Hey, baseball prospectus. They had them at 1, winning the division.
84 wins, right?
Yeah.
They won 84 wins in 2006. What happened that year? Actually, they won like 83, I think. It was 83 wins. Or 82. It might have been like 82. Never mind. Don't take my words seriously.
Yeah, don't listen to Francisco.
Don't listen to me. So yeah, I actually, the more you say that, the more I'm kind of swayed here to say, oh, it's the Red Sox. You know what? This could be good for a trial run this year. It could be good for a trial run.
Like Marcus Mariota, like out of the 3 let's compare it to the NFL quarterback, right? That they had on Netflix. Right. They followed the 3 quarterbacks around. Obviously, the most compelling is Mahomes. I mean, that's right. And Kirk Cousins, kind of like another really good quarterback. But then the Mariota angle, I thought was great too. Like seeing him too in a different setting, different situation. He's back and forth as a starter. So like, yeah, like it doesn't. I don't think it needs to be. I think there's still a compelling story there, and you'll find stories that you didn't even know existed when you watch this too, with each of the players too.
Also, before we go, congratulations to Corey Kluber on a great career. He retires. At one point, probably about like 7-8 years ago, was probably what argue is the best pitcher in the sport. Mm-hmm. Maybe not the best, but at least best in the American League when he was with Cleveland. I don't know. Well, any words here for Corey as he sails off into the sunset?
Corey, heck of a career, great job. Yes. Some really strong years in Cleveland. They got to a World Series with him against the Chicago Cubs in 2016. He was one of the top pitchers in that year. So great career, solid. Corey, you'll be missed, buddy.
Yeah, I would like to say thank you for a number of MLB The Show wins in Diamond Dynasty. As his, I think it was his like 2018 or 2017 or 2016 card, whichever one of those Cy Young years was great. That slurve was just devastating to go along with some of his other stuff. So I really like to say thank you, Corey Kluber, as I'm sure his cards will be used throughout future MLB The Show games. Sure. I don't play MLB The Show anymore, but Well,
now we're gonna have to. We have to now because now I gotta show you I'm a better GM than you.
By the way, I would murder you in MLB The Show. That you wouldn't. I can feel it right now. I haven't even played in like 2 years. I would annihilate you in MLB The Show.
I will say this. My best game was MLB 2K. Because I had Xbox growing up. Like it was like 2K was the main. I have the show. I'm decent at the show. 2K was mine. I was like MLB 2K11 with Halladay on the cover. Like that was my game. Like that. I was legit. I don't think anyone beats me in that.
That's that.
So you might beat me in the show, but if we went 2K route, I think I got you there.
I get that, but like the show is the game. Like
I agree. It's great.
The game.
It's great. But MLB 2K was awesome. That was the game at that time. And I 2K12 before it discontinued. I know this shit. All right. You play.
It was always look.
Were you always a PlayStation kid? Were you always a PlayStation guy?
I went from PS2 to Xbox 360 back to PS4.
Okay. That's what I did. That's what I did. Well, I had an Xbox One as well in there.
Yeah, when I had the 360, I played 2K.
Okay. I had the 360 and I had the Xbox One. I would still play 2K.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, 2K was never number one. It was MVP baseball until like 05, and then they cut the cord on it. And
I only had 06. I only played 06. That's the only MVP baseball
06?
Yeah, when it was college.
It was college,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
I never played it.
No, that was the only one I had.
2K was never number one. So that's all.
No, I think the show was always the better game, but I think just because 2K was affiliated with Xbox, you played that one. And that became my game. That was amazing at.
All right, real quick before we go, Super Bowl pick. Who you got?
I think it's pretty clear. I'm gonna go to Kansas City Chiefs. To me, I just can't pick. I think it's gonna be a close game. San Francisco, it's two best teams in football. But I can't pick against Patrick Mahomes, man. Can't do it anymore. Every time I try, he finds a way, and he's gonna find a way again.
We're on the same. We're thinking the same right here, man. Like I had Buffalo going to the Super Bowl. Buffalo loses to KC. I had Baltimore beating Kansas City.
Mhm.
KC wins. It's just like I can't. I'm with you. By the way, I think it's going to be. I think people really wanted Detroit and Baltimore, and it didn't happen. So I don't think people are as excited about the Super Bowl, and they should be though. It's going to be a really good game.
It is.
It's a really good matchup, and I'm
It's
really
gonna be,
excited. So I like Kansas City too. I like Kansas
I
City.
do too. A lot of people are liking San Francisco. I think they're the favorite, but I think
I can see that.
Out.
San Francisco probably. I mean, overall, probably is the better team. But Kansas City with Mahomes, Reed, and that defense,
doesn't
matter. All right. Well, make sure you tune in for our next episode of The Shift, where I guess next time we're around, pitchers and catchers will report it for most teams. So,
I think so.
More excitement. And it's been spring weather out, Nick. It's been like the 50s. So
it's been beautiful the past 2 days.
It has. Okay.
I wore shorts.
Yeah. Where's some shorts? I was running yesterday. I was wearing shorts. So, yep. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us for The Shift. For Nick Earnshaw, I'm Francisco Rojas. We'll talk to you guys soon.